the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know.
Welcome to Say So, where we talk about it, whatever it is, because what you do not know can hurt you or someone that you know and love. So let's get to the root. For today's episode of Say So, we are going to embark on a series, Beauty-4-Ashes. It seems like a pretty good deal to be able to exchange beauty for ashes, right? The title of this episode is I Am Not My Hair. Pretty much from India Ari's song that's in the chorus that says that I am not my hair. And this is just the journey. And I think it's important to go on this journey because many women of color, black and brown women, specifically or especially African-American women, because I am African-American woman, my parents, the women, my aunts, my cousins, the people that I have surrounded myself with, friends, colleagues, etc., are African-American women. And I've noticed a few commonalities as it pertains to hair and the ups and the downs, the struggles and all of that stuff. So the first question is, what does a woman's hair symbolize? And for the most part, it's more than something that grows on top of her head, whether representative of her culture. It can also represent her financial or relationship status, individuality, sexuality, or bravery and boldness. It can also be a symbol of power and wisdom. So when I was going through the list, the relationship status, specifically, married women would wear their hair a certain way. Single women would wear their hair a certain way. So that would differentiate the individual or the woman, if she's taken or not taken or what have you. They may have also had styles for those that are widowed or those who, I guess, never married, who have children and things of that nature. But it was just a way for you to look at someone and know immediately their status. As it pertains to their culture, it would possibly show you like what tribe you were from. Different hairstyles and different tribes wore their hair in different ways, different colors, different accessories, and that would also differentiate you. Hair symbolizes a lot when you just think about that. Like it symbolizes who you are, your identity of sorts. Now, the next question is, why is hair important to God? Because I wanted to know this. It's important to know and to note that throughout the Old and the New Testament, the significance of hair is woven. So it's included, right? In ancient Israel, hair signified important features of identity with respect to gender, ethnicity, and holiness. So basically, you could look at a person and pretty much know, I guess, if they were virgins or not, if they, like I said previously, if they were married, what ethnic group they fall in or fell under, as well as their gender. It's typically you separate male and a female from their hairstyle, the way it's cut, if it's not cut, whatever, what have you. Now, the next question is, what does it mean when a woman cuts her hair off? And this makes me think of the big chop. And because it's pretty popular, sometimes women do the big chop if they've had locks for an extended period of time, or if they've grown their hair, if they want to cut out perm, or they want to cut out some kind of chemical, maybe their hair is damaged, or they just want a new start, right? And they'll do the big chop. Now, some people, like myself, I did the big chop and I literally went bald. Some people will do a teeny weeny afro, like the length of my hair. Some people will do a little longer or a little more or what have you. But it's a big chop for them because they're cutting off inches and layers of hair, right? This also made me think of the movie Waiting to Exhale with Bernadine. Well, after her husband left her for a Caucasian woman, then she wanted to cut her hair off because he would never let her cut her hair. And likely that was because he was more attracted to Caucasian women or women with longer hair. So once she basically got her independence or got her walking papers, she was like, just cut it off or what have you. And her friend had short hair, and her friend didn't want her to cut off her hair, but Bernie was ready for a new start, and she was like, I'm starting over. I'm going to do what I want to do with my hair from now on or what have you. And so she cut it off. But that just reminded me that's a big chop as well. And letting go of the past. Letting go of what has felt safe, rejecting fear, and embracing change and the unknown. Okay, so it's a fresh start. It's starting over. Sometimes starting over can be liberating because you have the benefit of experience and can just enjoy the journey the second time around. And that makes me think of when I actually went completely bald after I had locked my hair for about 2 years, and then I cut it all off to start over. I was having some issues with it, and I had some damaged areas in the middle of my head, and the rest of my hair was extremely long, but it was long, it was growing well and all of that, but the middle of my hair had just broken off. It had popped off and locks had come out and things of that nature, and I was like, this is never gonna catch up. Like, it's extremely short, and I've got hair way down here, or what have you. So then I got tired of covering it up. I got tired of certain hairstyles and updos. I have to make sure that, the thinning spot isn't showing, or the balding spot or what have you. And, it just became a chore, really, trying to cover everything up and make everything fit and all of that. And I just got tired of it. I said, look at this here. If it's going to go hair loss, balding, whatever, let's get it. I'm going to be in control of this. I'm going to just cut it all off. I ain't going to sit up here and keep trying to patch it up or keep, hoping and praying that it's going to grow back or what have you. If we going to go, it's like go hard or go home. Let's do it 100%. And that's just the type of person I am, because it really had taken me to a place where, you don't really feel good about yourself. And your hair is one of the first things as a woman that, once again, identifies you. Your hair is one of the first things that we as women assume that men are attracted to, or, it can attract or repel the opposite sex or what have you. And for me to have to cover that up and stuff like that, it just became, like I said, a chore. It became stressful, and I wasn't about to fall into the slippery slope of depression because of what was going on with my hair. I said, look at this here. We're going to take this by the horns, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And I'll just start all the way over instead of trying to wait for stuff to catch up and trying to patch this and all of that. I just said, forget it. Ground zero. It's fine. Now, the next question is, what does short hair say about a woman? I was curious, right? The two things it says is, or exudes, is confidence and boldness, right? So, confidence. Short hair often exudes confidence and self-assurance, as she is comfortable with her unique style. She being the woman who has cut her hair short. And it doesn't say how short. Short for me is extremely short, and short for somebody else, this could be way too short for somebody. Like, they would never go this short or what have you. Just an afro, probably like around here, would be somebody else's short. Now, the second one, boldness, right? Short hair can symbolize a bold and daring personality. And I dare say that it does. When women are bold enough to cut their hair off, like I said, whether it's by choice or whether it's by force, you become more confident. You have to, as a part of what you've done. You may be a little more risky with your attire or what have you. You may wear things that maybe accentuate your figure or what have you, because you may be of the mindset or the persuasion, I already don't have that much hair, or my hair is extremely short, so I don't want to be mistaken for a man. So, not that you're going to dress provocative or anything like that, but you want to kind of balance it out, usually, or at least I'll just speak for me. That was one of the things that I definitely wanted to balance it out, because I am a woman, I am feminine, and all of those things. Now, the next question is, what does a woman's hair say about her? All right. Now, as it pertains to length, basically, women with short hair are seen as being more professional and confident. Boomerang with Halle Berry. This took me back to that movie because she was a boss, you know what I'm saying? And she had short hair. But back then, that was in like 1992. That wasn't, short hair wasn't necessarily a thing like that. And we know Halle Berry, she has a beautiful head of hair, and she has worn her hair, long. She has worn it cut off or what have you. And to go that short, I actually liked it, seeing her as professional and confident. And I can remember my second grade teacher, her name was Miss Bronson. She also wore a short cut. Now that was in the 80s. So that made a bold statement. And to me, it looked very proper. It looked very prim. She had a small curl. She had it shaved in the back and on the sides. And it looked really, really nice and professional, in my opinion. As it pertains to medium length hair, women with medium length hair are thought of as practical because it's versatile and it's low maintenance. So for example, you got medium length hair, you could wear it down, you could wear it in a ponytail, you could wear certain updos and things of that nature. So you could just brush it or comb it all to the back, and just let it hang or what have you. So it is fairly versatile. You can have some up in the front and some down in the back. You can have the front, down and the back up, so it is pretty low maintenance and pretty versatile. Now, the New Testament book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 30, it talks about how the hairs on our head are numbered. Basically, I wanted to look up numbered to see what that term means. And numbered means the amount to a specific figure or quantity comprised. So basically, the number of something. Like we have 5 fingers, 5, okay? Synonyms for the term numbered is add up to, amount to, total, or come to. It's like a register. Your total comes to this, that, and the other, or what have you. Now, if it talked about comprised of, I want to know what comprised means, right? Comprised means to make up, constitute, and some synonyms for that is to make up, form, comprise, or account for. So when it says the amount to a specific figure or quantity comprise, I wanted to make sure that makes sense and fit those together. Now, as it talks about hair, think about what is hair. If I am not my hair, what specifically is hair? What is not hair? So hair is any of the fine thread-like strands growing from the skin of humans, mammals, or some other animals. And mammals are simply things that reproduce after themselves. Like humans, we are mammals. We carry our children in our womb or in our bodies, and then they're born out from us. So those are mammals. And the second definition was hairs collectively, especially those growing on a person's head. Synonyms for that is head of hair, mane, locks, curls, etc. So as it pertains to the scripture in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15, it talks about a woman's hair being her glory. So specifically it says, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her. For her hair is given her for a covering. So I wanted to know, what is glory? Okay, so if long hair is a glory to a woman, what specifically is glory? The noun version of glory is high, renowned, or honor worn by notable, achieve. And the synonyms or similar words for glory is fame, distinction, celebrity, praise, reputation. All right. And this just makes me think of how, popularity, like your hair can make you famous. Some people are famous simply because of their hair or the type of hair they have or how long it is or the color or just the way it looks and things of that nature. Now, the second verb definition for glory is magnificent or great beauty. Synonyms or similar words for glory is extravagance and majestic. All right, so now the verb definition for glory is as follows. Take great pride or pleasure in. And a synonym or similar word is to boast, to gloat, or to boast about. And we all know people who they have long hair or they have beautiful hair and their hair is very important to them. They may shake it and do things of that nature and all of that stuff. And, you can just kind of tell. And when their hair means a lot to them. Now, when it talked about in that scripture in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15, it talked about your hair not only being your glory, but your covering. So I want to know, what is a covering? Covering is a thing used to cover something, typically in order to protect or conceal it. Now, for me, when I went bald, I found out all too well how important it is to have some hair on your head, because you get cold really quickly because the heat from your body escapes through your head. So you either have to wear hoods, or you wear a scarf over your head, or you wear head wraps, or you wear a wig, you wear something, or a hat of some sort, toboggans. You wear something to keep the heat in your body, because you don't want to get cold or get sick simply because you don't have any hair on your head. And the next question is hair just extra protein? Because I heard that years ago. Like, I heard that your fingernails are just extra protein, your hair is extra protein, or what have you. I think somebody was like cutting their hair off or something, and maybe someone else didn't agree with it or felt like, are you going to cut your hair? And they were like, yeah, it's just extra protein or what have you. So that basically, like, it don't mean a whole lot. It's going to grow back. And it says, yes, hair is made up of protein, which makes up 91% of its fiber. Protein is made up of amino acids, which form keratin, the main protein in hair. So the main protein in hair is keratin. Protein strengthens hair bonds, making strands stronger and less likely to be damaged. Healthy hair contains protein and adds fullness, bounce, and sheen. Okay, so that's the shininess. However, having too much protein can cause hair to become dry, dull, and brittle. And this is called protein overload. Now, balance with moisturizing and hydrating products instead of protein, because you actually can add protein to your hair. A lot of the treatments that we do, they add protein. Some people will just take an egg and put it on their hair and sit up under the dryer, or just let it soak in over time or what have you, and then rinse it out, because eggs are protein, because it's a chicken. So that's important to know and to note. If you are suffering with protein overload, you're going to need more moisturizer and some things to hydrate your hair so it's not dull and dry. A protein treatment for healthy hair typically lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. And for damaged hair, you can do your protein treatment in half the time, like every 2 to 3 weeks. All right. The difference between hair growth and hair loss. What affects these two things? And some of them are pretty much the same. One thing that affects both hair growth and hair loss is genetics. So that just means your genes, who your parents are, who their parents were, all that that's floating around, swimming around in the gene pool, right? Now, as it pertains to hair loss, it's a predisposition. So that's pretty much saying it's kind of already set up that you're going to suffer with hair loss issues, because maybe your mother, your grandmother, great-grandmother, etc. have suffered with those things, right? So that's what it means. You're predisposed to it. One of the things that correlates between the effects of hair growth versus hair loss is your diet. Now, the hair growth, a healthy diet can promote hair growth. Hair loss can be attributed to a poor diet, right? Also, massaging your scalp can help with hair growth, which was one of the things I thoroughly enjoyed about having a bald head, because I could massage my scalp. I could actually feel my scalp. I could see my scalp. I would massage it every day when I oiled it, because I wanted it to be shiny or what have you. And it felt good, as well as it stimulated the hair follicles and everything. One thing that I learned in natural hair care school is that healthy hair can only and does only grow from a healthy scalp. So scalp massages, making sure you're getting the essential oils in your hair and things of that nature, or on your scalp, is important and imperative. Scalp psoriasis, as well as medications. Now, this is what can promote or have an adverse effect on hair growth. Stress, weight loss, because sometimes you lose important vitamins and minerals when you lose a lot of weight, and depending on how you lose it. If you lose it in a healthy way, you're fine. But if you don't lose it in a healthy way because you're sick, or because, medication, or because you're not eating or getting the proper nutrients and vitamins and amino acids and things into your body, then that's going to adversely affect hair growth. Trauma can affect hair growth. Did you know that? Because I didn't. Thyroid disease can affect hair growth. So can puberty. So can menopause. So can old age. So can covering your hair while sleeping. So they're basically saying, if and when you cover your hair while you sleep, it prevents shedding, and it prevents like your hair maybe getting caught in your pillowcase or something, or maybe the pillowcase is kind of rough, or the texture or what have you, and it just helps to stop the shedding and things of that nature. That makes me think of those bonnets or what have you, those silk bonnets that they encourage you to wear to sleep. And hopefully, if you get the right size, it won't come off. Or if you're a wild sleeper, it's going to be right beside you on the pillow or somewhere in the bed up under the covers because you done slept it off. Now, as it pertains to hair loss, vitamin deficiency attributes to hair loss, as well as mineral deficiency. That's what I was saying about the poor versus the healthy diet. What are you putting inside of your body? Having skin problems can have something to do with hair loss, because you got to realize your scalp is just an extension of your skin as well. So if you have sorts of breakouts or blisters or bumps or things like that, then that can, cause hair to not grow in that place or kind of disrupt things. Hair growth disorders can cause or lend to hair loss, as well as hormonal problems. And that kind of goes along with the hormonal changes that they said that can either positive or adversely promote or demote hair growth. Hormonal problems is also interwoven with puberty as well as menopause. Certain internal diseases, such as thyroid disease, can attribute to or lend to hair loss. Drug use, because like when they drug test you, they take your hair. Why? Because whatever you put in and on your body collects in your hair. So it's important to know and to note that there are people that abuse drugs, like specifically smoking and stuff, like smoking weed and smoking cigarettes and stuff, because that stuff stays around, like it gets in your skin and in your pores, as well as if you're smoking here and the smoke is going up, it's also getting into your hair and things of that nature. Stress can lend to hair loss. And this made me think of Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when she was talking about the stress and she talked about her hair was falling out. This is a wife of an abusive man and all of that. And she talked about losing kids and him taking life from her. And she talked about her weight going up and her weight going down, hair falling out and things of that nature as a result of stress. The stress of having multiple miscarriages, right? Depression as well. Cosmetic factors, and that's just stuff that you put on your hair or don't put on your hair, okay? Childbirth, because when you're pregnant, your children pull from what you have. So if you don't have enough vitamins and minerals and stuff like that, or they need it for themselves, so they're going to take it, or what have you. But if you're not replenishing it and doing what's needed and necessary to maintain that, then you could be suffering for some deficiency, iron deficiency, vitamin deficiency, mineral deficiency, bone deficiency, or what have you. And as well as hair loss can be linked to the chemotherapy process, can cause hair loss or contribute, right? So I want you to remember that God and only God has the final say so.